Hello Tubman third graders, it's Miss Deal again, and today we are going to be working on week 6, day 1 of your distance learning packet. So let's go ahead and get started. Make sure you have your week 6 packet and a pencil or pen you can use to write with. So we're going to start on day 1, which is the content vocabulary for this week. Today you will learn new vocabulary words that you will see as you read and write about another force in nature, electricity. So there are other YouTube videos you can find that help you with this, but today we're going to go over it together. For each word, we are going to read the word and the definition, we're going to look at the picture, and then we're going to get specific and use it in a sentence. So just like in the example for magnetism. We're going to read the definition, the power of a magnet to attract, a force that pushes and pulls certain metals. Look at the picture, and then we'll write about it. So let's go ahead and get started on our vocabulary words for this week. So our first word is generator. In Espanol, generator is generador. Okay? A generator is a machine that turns motion into electricity. I'm going to get specific and use an example that I remember growing up. My neighbors used a generator to power their house when the electricity went out from a thunderstorm. So this was an example when I was a kid. My neighbors used generators so they could have power and lights and, cook and use the kitchen during a storm when all the power went out. So now we can use the word generator in a sentence. I'm going to write, a generator is used to make electricity. Let's go on to our next word, which is electric current. Electric current in Espanol is corriente eléctrica. So the electric current is the movement of electrons through matter. So if you look at the picture here, you can see there's a battery with a positive and a negative end. The electric current is the motion of the electrons going through the battery into whatever is powering. So for an example, I use batteries to power my, let's pick something. How about a toy car? The batteries give electricity so the car can work. Okay? So now let's use the words electric current in a sentence. The electric current moves through matter to create electricity. Okay, now we know what electric current means. Let's go on to our next word, which is electromagnet. In Espanol, electromagnet is electroimán. So an electromagnet is a magnet that can be turned on or off and is made sending electricity through metal. So you can make an electromagnet at home if you have the right materials. I know that electromagnets are used, spelled that wrong, electromagnets are used in junk yards to pick up cars and heavy objects. So they use electromagnets to pick up cars, and then they can turn it off again so the car will drop. An electromagnet uses electricity to power a magnet. Let's go on to our last vocabulary word, which is voltage. In Espanol, voltage is voltaje. Voltage means a measure of the amount of push that gets an electric current going. So if you have different sizes of batteries, they all have different amounts of voltage. A small battery has a smaller amount of voltage than a large battery. So the battery that goes in a toy is smaller and has less voltage than a battery that goes in, like, my car. That has a lot of voltage because it has to power a bigger object. So the voltage is the amount of power. Voltage is the amount of power in electricity. Alrighty, so make sure you wrote something down to get specific, even if it's not one of my examples. If you have your own example of these vocabulary words, you can write that here. And then write the word in a sentence. So you can copy the sentences I wrote, or you can think of your own sentence. Let's go on and finish up for day 1 of week 6. So next we're going to read the text for this week, so we're ready to do all of the work that we have. So let's start reading on the next page. So first we can look at the photograph, and in this photograph I see a lightning storm. I see dark clouds and I see a lot of lightning going down to a town. Introduction. Have you ever watched lightning during a big storm at night? Did you know that a lightning bolt is a natural form of electricity? But most electricity is made by people. When you turn on a light, you are using electricity made by people. Electricity has become a very important part of our lives. It's hard to imagine the world without it. Magnetism is also a familiar part of our world. Perhaps you have played with magnets. Magnetism is closely related to electricity, and this book will teach you about electricity and magnetism. It will also explain how they are connected. So let's go on to the next part, which says, what is electricity? You just learned that electricity can be produced naturally. It can also be made by people. But what is electricity? It is a form of energy. Energy is what makes things happen. For example, the energy in sunlight makes plants grow, producing electricity. Now you know how electricity can be used to make a magnet. But did you know that magnets can also be used to make electricity? Scientists learned how to do this in the 1800s. They discovered that if a coil of wire is moved through a magnetic field, an electric current flows through the wire. The same thing happens in reverse when a magnet is moved through a coil of wire. Scientists used that discovery to build machines called electrical generators. There's our vocabulary word, generator. Cities, once mostly dark at night, became bright with electric lighting. Today, generators with large, powerful magnets are used to produce electricity. This important form of energy is used to provide light and power for homes and offices. So this section just told us how electricity is created and how it is used to power our lights and our computers, our TVs, and everything in your house that uses power and energy. It comes from electricity. Let's go on to the next page. So I see 2 more pictures here. We're going to read the caption. These generators inside a dam use water to spin giant magnets. Interesting. So this is another form of generators that make electricity using magnets. And then we can look at this other photo, which looks like a dam, but it does not have a caption. So we'll start reading here. The electricity we use every day is produced at power plants. These places use huge generators to make AC current. Electromagnets in the generators spin inside coils of water. One of 3 main energy sources spins the magnets. They are steam, rushing water, and wind. Steam. Most power plants produce electricity by boiling water to make steam. They do this in one of several ways: by burning coal or oil, by releasing the energy in atoms, and by using focused sunlight. The steam produced in power plants spins large blades in a machine called a turbine. The turbine is connected to the magnets in a generator. As the turbine blades spin, they make the magnets spin. The moving magnets produce an electric current. So most power plants use steam in one of these ways to make electricity. Water. Some power plants are part of large dams. A dam stops the flow of water. A dam stops the flow of a river. A big lake forms behind the dam. Water from the lake rushes through the openings at the bottoms of the dam. The water spins the turbine blades. The turbines are connected to magnets in a generator. The spinning blades make the magnets spin. So that's what we see in this picture here, is a dam producing electricity. Let's go on to the next page. There's a text feature at the top that says, "Do you know?" The largest dam in the world is the Three Gorges Dam in China. This hydroelectric dam is 185 meters, 606 feet high, and 2,335 meters, 7,660 feet wide. That's a really big dam. Wind. So let's look at the picture for wind. So I see the large wind, forgetting the word. The blades of some wind turbines are as long as a truck. A wind turbine. So the large propellers that spin, and these make electricity. And then in the other picture, there are electric cables. Large cables called power lines can carry electricity hundreds of miles to transformers that reduce the voltage for users. Wind. The power of wind can also be used to make electricity. This is done with machines called wind turbines. They look like huge airplane propellers. The turbines transfer their energy to a generator. The next section is called delivering electricity. Current leaving a power plant has to go a long way before it gets used. It is passed through a large device called a transformer. The transformer greatly increases the voltage of the current. The extra volts push the electricity along long distances through cables. The electricity in the cables is too strong to be used in homes and factories. The voltage must be reduced first. This is done by using another kind of transformer that is far from the power station. This transformer lowers the voltage to about 120 volts. Interesting. So we learned that these big machines, the power lines, transfer the energy to different places, and they also help reduce the voltage so that it's safe to have the electricity used in your house. You wouldn't want to have too much electricity, if too much voltage, or something would probably go wrong. So let's go on to the last page. Electricity and magnetism in today's world. So there's a picture of a car, and the caption says, "All cars use magnets and electricity. Some use electricity instead of gas." For thousands of years, people had no electricity. Work was done with the muscle power of humans and other animals. Candles and oil lamps provided light. Magnetism was something in unusual rocks called lodestones. Lightning was a mystery. No one understood electricity or magnetism, and they had no idea that the two things are related. But today, electricity and magnetism are well understood and widely used. Magnets are used in computer hard drives, stereo speakers, credit cards, and many other devices. And as you just learned, large magnets are used at power plants to generate electricity. Electricity powers most of the things we use in our everyday lives. More than ever, we depend on electrical energy. So now we are all finished reading our text, and we are done for day 1. Great work, everybody. So you should check back on YouTube for a video for day 2 for week 6. And we will see you soon. Bye, guys.